What's going on to you, Virgo? So you have the Tower, the Sun, the Moon, the Queen of Swords, the Ten of Swords, King of Pentacles, High Priestess, the Nine of Swords. Then you have the Wheel of Fortune. No, the Eight of Swords. They don't have the names on them, and the Devil. So what I'm seeing here, right? Some of them do, some of them don't have the names on them. But for you Virgos, right? The Tower, the Sun, the Moon. Again, the Moon, a lot of ghosting. The Sun, and they're in the correct placements that they're supposed to be. Fire is, well, masculinity is right hand, femininity is left hand. So definitely in the right placements anyway. So this is very much so about the Tower, okay? The Tower represents things falling apart between yourself and just how it is that your love life has to become something new. Because a lot of you Virgos have been dealing with, combative so-called partners for such a long period of time, to the point where it really is quite ridiculous at this point, to have so many people who claim that they like you. Some may even say that they love you, but when it comes to actually putting in any kind of real work, they can't really seem to be able to actually do any of that type of stuff. And that's where the problem comes into play. So now the Queen of Swords now represents how, because the Queen of Swords and the Ten of Swords, because every time it just seems like it's always something. They seem to have so much, everything starts off good at first, right? Queen of Swords, but then they seem to have so much combativeness towards you, right? And the combativeness doesn't even really seem to make any kind of sense to it whatsoever. Everything just seems to be such a problem. Everything is such a hassle. Everything is so, you got to be wrong, and you Virgos have to be the worst people in the world, and no matter how hard you try, no matter what it is that you do, it just seems like you Virgos are the worst people in the world, right? You're the devil, right? You know what I mean? And then the Ten of Swords represents, it seems like you always end up with swords in your back, figuratively speaking, of course, right? And it's such a shame, because you try so hard to love people, try to really be in a functional relationship, but it just seems like people don't care about that, right? Because they're always interested in playing the game, right? They're always interested in acting like they're competing with you, and that they're better than you, and that they have to outdo you, and all of this stuff that comes out of left field that a lot of you Virgos don't even, well, us Virgos, because I am a Virgo, a lot of us Virgos that don't even know what exactly is going on because of how dysfunctional those people are, right? We can sometimes get displaced or confused or bewildered because of the fact that people can flip a switch so easily, and it's like 1 minute they're so approachable, and then the next minute it's like they're the Queen of Swords, and it's like they're here to, slice and dice and all this other type of stuff. And then the next thing you know, you're like the Ten of Swords. You're all over the place, and then you're emotionally in pieces, and then you have to essentially pull yourself back together. And then the King of Pentacles now represents how, but you bounce back. A lot of you Virgos tend to bounce back despite the heartache, despite the pain, despite the heartbreak. A lot of you Virgos do tend to bounce back, and you are bouncing back. You have bounced back from the tremendous challenges that so many of you have had to experience because of the roller coaster ride of what love supposedly, right? Supposed love is supposed to actually mean. Then the High Priestess is Virgo, okay? Virgo and Taurus. But the High Priestess, right? The High Priestess represents how, but it's taught you quite a lot. It's taught you quite a lot, right? The High Priestess very much so is a person, right, that in certain cases, in certain regards, studies, picks up a book, actually does the academia, right? Studies their own selves and their emotions. And like I said, this has put you in a position where you're cursed in some ways, but you're blessed in others, right? In a sense that us Virgos are cursed in the sense of when it comes to finding love and being in a relationship that works, it's going to be very difficult for us. But we're blessed in the sense that we really get a chance to see how dysfunctional people really tend to be, that they spend so much time trying to cover up. And we bring that to the forefront, right? To where we bring that up on out of them, to where they, they would like to sit back looking cool and act like they're ghosts, right? To where they're playing a game that no one can see. But we end up bringing that mentality out of them, where when you're around people, the two of y'all are around people, they start bugging out, and then everybody starts to look at them differently because they doing too much. So now it's like you Virgos are exonerated, because now it's not just you, right? That already knew that they were tripping. Now you know that they are tripping, because now you know that they were tripping because of the fact that they tend to not have any kind of common sense to them, right? Because now everybody sees them, right? Because they didn't have enough common sense to understand that to still play the game out in the open, especially when you're out in the open. No, they had to start wilding out on you anyway. And then the thing about it is that the Nine of Swords now represents how, sure, it hurts a lot of us Virgos for a little while, right? Where we hurt, we experience pain and we experience discomfort and stuff like this. But at the same time, we usually end up being in a situation where we bounce back. But this Nine of Swords, while we're going through it, it hurts like a mug, but we end up having to bounce back. And then the thing about it is that the eight of swords, represents how, I'm just looking at how beautiful it is. The Eight of Swords represents how, and we don't know what to do, right? That puts us in a position for a little while where we don't know what to do, right? But then the devil, right? It's something that we have to go over our ego and learn to eat our ego, right? Figure it out. And what I mean when I say eat it, I mean like swallow that pain, like a Subway sandwich, swallow that pride down. That pain of, you may want to get back at the person, but realize that it really is in the moment, and that when some time passes by, and if you have purpose in your life, 2 days, 6 days, a month, time heals wounds, right? You don't really care because you're not with these people anymore. And you essentially regenerate, you heal yourself because you've had time to spend away from these goofy individuals, to not be around them, to not hang around them, to not have those toxic and dysfunctional people around you. But now you're in a better position in life because now you have a better understanding of, okay, you now know that a lot of people are faking the funk. A lot of people come in shapes and sizes and skin tones, and a lot of people can look like they're angels at first, but they really got the devil in them, right? The devil card. So you become more, you Virgos, us Virgos, we become more aware. And this is why, as I said, it ultimately becomes a blessing in the first place, because if you have Virgo in your chart, if you have Scorpio in your chart, if you have Capricorn in your chart, if you have, what was the other one? Aries in your chart, it makes it very difficult to be in love, very difficult to be in a relationship. But the good thing about it is you understand what real love is, and you get a front row seat to really see again that a lot of people are not necessarily what it is that they seem at first. Everybody wants to put their best foot forward or their representative first, but they want to play it off like, oh, you're the one who was bugging. But in actuality, they were indecent and they were the one that was really bugging out in the first place. So let's clarify some of these cards. Let's clarify the Queen of Swords. Five of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles, Three of Cups, Justice. Five of Pentacles, yeah, they played it off, right? Queen of Swords, they acted like they had so many problems with you, right? They couldn't be decent to you. It was too difficult. It was too much. Five of Pentacles, when the two of y'all stopped talking to each other, however it ended, you left them by themselves. The Three of Pentacles, they felt like they were right for a little while. Then the Three of Cups and the Justice got them. Somebody did the same thing to them, or they ended up by themselves. And then now they're starting to reflect on how it is that you Virgos was trying to do right by them, even when they was making it difficult. But they were so much of an idiot to the point where you realized that you could do no more. You had to take a step back from that. And when you did, that's when the stupid stuff started happening to them. Because now it's, if this is how it is that you could do to somebody that has your best interest in mind, I ain't going to do any of that because you going to play games. And a lot of people was able to see this. So they got approached from the same, with a person that treated them with the same treatment, because it's your get back. It's us Virgos get back. See, a lot of times with us Virgos, a lot of people be thinking that they doing us in, thinking that they doing us dirty and that we deserve it or all this other type of stuff, or they like to play it off. But a lot of people, they end up getting treated the same exact way that they treated us, because they stupid, because they can't understand that you don't treat people that treat you like gold like trash. The law of the universe makes it so. And I'm not talking about karma. I'm talking about science. I'm talking about law. I'm talking about common sense. You don't treat people who treat you like gold like trash, because that's the gold standard of how they're treating you. So other people will look at it as an example, as no matter how good they treat you, you still going to turn around and treat them like trash because you ungrateful. So when people look at that, they're going to look at that as an example as how to treat you. They can't trust you. They can't treat you with a certain level of respect because you so stupid. I'm not saying you, I'm talking about the person. They so stupid and backwards and delusional and dysfunctional to the point where if they figure that if they want to get respect from the dysfunctional person, they have to be disrespectful to them and sleight of hand with them. And a lot of those delusional people don't seem to understand that you really putting yourself out there for the wolves to get you. Because then people know, oh, I can't take you seriously. So let's glorify the devil. You have the Strength, the Hermit, the Queen of Wands, and then you have the Seven of Swords, which represents how this is a situation for you where you Virgos, like I said, the getting over the ego is usually the hardest part, because it's all natural that you would want to get revenge or you want to get some sort of get back. But the ability to remember where it is that you came from, where it is that you started from in the first place is the best thing, because The Queen of Wands and the Seven of Swords now represents how a lot of you Virgos are able to let them get caught up with their own scenario, right? The snake eating its own tail. On one level, the snake eating its own tail. I say that a lot because the snake eating its own tail can be what most people would consider to be karma, where it's like you can't stop with the self-sabotaging. But a lot of you Virgos see that in a lot of other people. And the best thing for us Virgos to do is to really leave them alone, because a lot of us tend to do better on our own or with people who really willing to put in work for us or by ourselves.